CMPRadio.net. It's the station.
Check. Hey, how everybody doing out there in the Facebook land? I once again, like I said, I always imagine y'all whenever I say how y'all doing, I say how y'all we fine over here. So I'm appreciating that. Tonight, I have a very special guest with me, Mr. Downtown Jabuki Brown on Facebook. Mr. Major comedian. Mr. Major is in the house. What's up to the people?
Hello, everyone. How y'all doing today? How y'all doing tonight?
So before we get started, our topic this evening, and I'm really going to need y'all to listen to this. It's called Let's Make a Slave. This is part 2 of this conversation. This conversation actually got a couple parts to it. And these conversations are actually following Mr. Willie Lynch, a gentleman who lived around the 17th century. Actually, I think it was between the 16th and 17th century because he made a speech. I believe it was back in 1712, I want to say. And pretty much outlined to plantation owners on how to improve their businesses. And their businesses involved slaves. And believe me when I tell you, slaves were booming. But I really want to talk about how that all affects us today. And I am clear and present proof of how it affects us today.
Listen, but before we hop into that conversation, I want to give Major an opportunity to tell y'all where he at, where he going to be, where y'all can find him. You're going to need this too, sir.
Yes, my name is Major. Yes, Chester, PA, Chester Comedian, and you can find me at Downtown Jabuki Brown _Major. Instagram, Major LLC. We're working on that first part on Facebook, okay? Bear with me, But this Saturday, if everyone is tuned in, please get your tickets if you haven't got them. We will be doing, the gods, the night of the gods. Please come check us out, man. Come check us out. We'll be at the Fine Arts, Chester Fine Arts Center. We'll be doing Juneteenth. Please come see us. And we look forward to seeing you.
Yes, indeed. So I want to let y'all know the address to the Fine Arts Center is 17 East 7th Street. Chester, PA. You got your phone up? You got to turn your volume down. I was wondering why I'm hearing another voice in my ear.
Is that what that is?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I didn't even know. I call myself, I tell you,
So we're going to pick this up, and we're going to pick it at Let's Make a Slave. And it's one thing in particular that I wanted to start at, a certain point I wanted to start at. And this is in Mr. Willie Lynch's own words. So I want you to hear what he had to say. And this is basically on the topic of how he labeled and divided us, much like you would do your cattle. You take the male bulls and you put them in one area. You take the female sheep and you put them the female cows or whatnot and put them in another area. And you separate the babies and everything else. But I'm going to break it down. I'm going to break it down for you. So this is what Mr. Willie Lynch said. And then we'll get involved in this conversation. And I want to make sure I got it at the right part. Okay. In my bag here, I have foolproof method for controlling your black slaves. I guarantee every one of you that if it is installed correctly, it will control the slaves for at least 300 years. My method is simple. Any member of your family or your overseer can use it. I have outlined a number of differences among the slaves, and I take these differences and make them bigger. I use fear, distrust, and envy for control purposes. These methods have worked on my modest plantation in the West Indies, and it will work throughout the South. Take this simple little list of differences and think about them. On the top of my list is age, but it is there only because it starts with an A. The second is color or shade. There is intelligence, size, sex, size of plantations, status on plantation, attitude of owners, whether the slaves live in the valley or on the hill, east, west, north, south, have fine hair, coarse hair, or is tall or short. Now that you have a list of differences, I shall give you an outline of action. But before that, I shall assure you that distrust is stronger than trust, and envy is stronger than adulation or respect or admiration. The black slave, after receiving this indoctrination, shall carry on and will become self-refueling and self-generation for hundreds of years, maybe thousands. Wow. Okay. Don't forget, you must pitch the old black male versus the young black male and the young black male against the old black male. You must use the dark-skinned slaves versus the light-skinned slaves and the light-skinned slaves versus the dark-skinned slaves. You must use the female versus the male and the male versus the female. You must also have your white servants and overseers distrust all blacks, but it is necessary your slaves trust and depend on us. They must love, respect, and trust only us. Gentlemen, these kits are the keys to control. Use them. Have your wives and children use them. Never miss an opportunity. If used intensely for 1 year, the slaves themselves will remain perpetually distrustful. Thank you, gentlemen. I want to let that sink in for a second. I need to let that sink in for a second. Just think about that. If you apply this intensely, pretty much the slave's going to pick up the ball and run with it. You will never need to do this again. It's not like planting a seed and watering it, and you got to take care of it. Rose bushes, you got to prune them. If you don't prune them, the rose bush ain't going to grow right. You got to cut back the old so the new can come out. It's none of that. You do this for 1 year, and I guarantee you, the slaves will continue it themselves. He said it's important that all white people, all your people, trust no slave. But the slave must admire and trust their masters. Just think about that. Just putting it out there. So.
That's terrible, man. That's just a.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So I want to go down this list of division.
Yeah, this is a long list. This is a very long list.
And I'm going to call this divide and conquer. I was in the military for a very long time, right? And so being in the military and strategizing and things of that nature, people normally do a thing of divide and conquer. And sometimes subconsciously, we divide and conquer. If there's somebody who wants to break you up with somebody, it's divide and conquer. If someone wants to cause havoc in your family, it's divide and conquer. Sometimes your children do it. They will say one thing to mommy and pit mommy against daddy and daddy against mommy, and before you know it, the heads are fighting.
Yes.
And the child is reaping the benefits of the fight. Some children are very good at manipulation that way. But this is out in the open manipulation. This manuscript that Willie Lynch had written, it's almost as if he was psychic. And I will have to say, to give credit where credit is due, because he had to have been a genius. And I know a lot of times when I say things like this, people get upset. And they be like, well, why would you call somebody like that a genius? Look at us today. His words ring true. So we're going to call this division, divide and conquer. It's what we do. It's what people do to win wars, divide and conquer. You often hear people say, you cut off the head, the body will follow. So
can I ask you one thing real
Sure.
quick? So when you were in the military, did you at any point in time feel like a slave?
honestly, no, because I chose to be there. And my reasoning for going into the military was because I wanted to make good money. I wanted to be able to go to college. I wanted to be able to take care of my family because I already had my first daughter. I was living in a house that had wound up catching on fire, so I was kind of couch surfing for a little bit. You know, I just wanted something better, and the military seemed like the best way to do that.
Gave you that stability.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it.
And I can honestly say to this day, I'm kind of thankful I did it. Now, a lot of people get upset about the military. A lot of people don't like the military. A lot of people don't trust the military. But what they need to understand is the people that's in the military, they follow orders. They follow orders. They get, this is what you're told to do it. Now, think of the military as a job. That's what it is. If you work at McDonald's and they tell you that you're not going to work the register today, you're going to go clean them bathrooms, then that's your job.
Of all damn places, McDonald's, huh?
Oh, yeah. Now,
had to
I
bring
only,
that up.
I only said that because it popped into my mind.
I bet it did.
It did.
McDonald's.
It definitely did.
Oh,
But
good. We're going to hit this
we're going to
list.
hit that. So the list is I want to talk about, you know, age, of course, pitting the old against the young. Now, y'all all see this in our society today. I'm sure you would agree, right?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. When younger people don't really respect their elders, and elders don't really believe in the younger people. I mean, personally, a lot of people feel like, oh shit, damn tomorrow, if these folks gonna be in charge, correct?
Yeah.
I mean,
In some cases, but I also think that elders, us as elders, also should give that respect in order to earn it as well from the younger generation. And a lot of times from our generation growing up, we was like told, listen, that's your elder, you respect them automatically. There was no, rather however they came off or whatever, we had to still give them that respect.
yeah.
Nowadays, it's more so, you need to earn it. I need to feel like I'm being more respected in order to give you that in return.
But it's part of this, I'm going to call it the Willie Lynch syndrome. It's
Okay.
part of the Willie Lynch syndrome. Because guess what? When our children respected us and when other people's children respected us, our communities were tighter. Like, you can open up the door and say, hey, yo, Rafiq, get down there to your mom's house. I'm getting ready to call her right now and tell her what you was doing. And the mom didn't come at you that.
Right. Right. She thanked you.
Yeah, exactly.
See, thank
but
you.
now, oh, don't be talking to my fucking kid like that. My motherfucking kid. And everybody ready to get the shoot 'em up going and everything else. Nobody's trying to hear anybody. And I think it's something that we need to look at. It's something that we need to think about. And I think a lot of people don't think about that. I think a lot of people don't even freaking look at it. So they talk about color and shade. Now, and I'm going to hit on each one of these briefly. They talk about color and shade. So let me tell you something. We, the melanated of this country, of this planet, we come in so many different varieties. But let me tell you this. There is self-hatred amongst us.
Definitely.
So this is me proving Willie Lynch's plans really work. So back in the day, who remembers light skin is in? Who remembers when light skin was in?
How about that?
Because I tell you this, I remember when light skin was in. I do. And to even show how the media depicts that. We was talking earlier about New Jack City.
Exactly.
When Nino Brown went up behind Christopher Williams,
That's what he said.
he choked him up. I think he stabbed him in the hand and choked him up. And he said,
He stabbed him right in the hand. Yes,
Yeah.
he did. Yep.
And he said, I never liked your pretty ass anyway.
Pretty motherfucker.
Yeah.
That's what he
He
said.
sounds just like him too. But
Well,
the crazy,
I'd rather sound like him than look like him.
oh yes sir,
My
yes,
guy.
sir.
Yes,
Yes,
guy.
sir. But that goes to show you, you have to honestly think about our mindsets. I even heard it said, "Oh, you can't trust light-skinned people." I've heard a lot of things said between our various colors.
Yes,
Or,
yes.
oh, they bougie. Or they think they better than us. Just because of your color. But let me tell you what he did. I really want to get through these changes, and I don't want to get
Yeah, because we easily
off
get off.
course.
Yes. Let's stick to the script. Let's stick to the script.
Size have a lot to do with your weight and what jobs you may have had or whatever the case may be. And think about it now. If somebody is fat, they're fat and lazy. If somebody is obese, we call them fat and lazy. We make fun of them. Even when they little kids, oh yeah, fat girls is like, what they say, like mopeds. They're really fun to ride, but you don't want somebody to see you on it, And that's what people say.
That's what they say.
That's what people
I know
say.
they said
We
that.
give our heavy population a really hard way to go. And in a sense,
that's hard.
they become outcasts. So the label that they carry on themselves, the label that we have given them, puts them outside of us. Sex. So we talk about male and female, or these days I want to say male, female, or LGBTQ community. You know what I mean? So your sex has a lot to do with a lot of things. You can be ostracized for different things. We have these gender roles and expectations, but the way everything is spun anymore, it's spun so that modern day slavery is applied. And I spoke a little bit on this last week about how all of our music and stuff push for you to be independent. Everything you hear, even our songs, you got your own house, you got your own crib, you got your own car. You know what I mean?
Yeah, independent.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not even just in that particular song. It's like everywhere saying, I don't need nobody. It's
When you need somebody.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. Even when you need that payday loan, you need somebody.
Yeah,
Yes, guy.
it's ridiculous. Then they go on height, intelligence, grade of hair. Think about that.
But see, how can that be possible? Because some people are born with a grade of hair that is just they have to live with. They
Yeah,
can't.
It doesn't matter, but it's a way we're divided. It's how we look at things. Honestly, it's like, how many times you heard somebody say nappy headed nigga?
I've
You
heard him
nappy
say
head.
it. I heard
You
him
know,
say it.
you'll hear people tell them how, oh, it's some chick, oh, you got a nappy kitchen. You know what I mean? Talking about the
Yeah.
back of their neck or whatever. And it's like we shame each other into the fact that like our hair is supposed to be straight or stringy or something like that. You know what I mean? If even dudes, you got waves. Oh, I know motherfuckers that walk around with a brush.
Yeah.
And it's what they do.
Yeah. I
Every
ain't got
5
no waves, but I got
seconds,
the brush. I got a little
they
teeny
had
brush.
a
I try to
brush.
keep the
I
naps
ain't-
out the beard. You
Man,
dig?
let me tell you something. My
That's
hair
it.
be just as nappy, and I don't give a fuck.
My man. I mean,
Oh.
I try. I don't know. It's just I always I got the little beady bees that come in, and I like
Yeah.
to try to keep them a little presentable if I can. But man, at the end of the day, man, I'm happy to be nappy.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Let's say he even says location, north, east, south, west, whether you live in the hills, whatever the case may be. Different people from different places are looked at in different ways, even people from the same community. Chester like that big. You can actually walk one end of Chester to the other end of Chester and you might break a little bit of a sweat, but it ain't going to take 3 hours to do it. It's not. Let me tell you something. It
Not
ain't
at
going
all.
to take 3 hours to do it. I think if you started from
facts.
Eddystone on 9th Street and you walk straight down, what you think? That's like, what, a 40-minute walk maybe?
Yeah, it could
Maybe.
be. It could
Yeah.
be. It could easily be an hour though. Depending
Well,
on how you
depending
walking.
on how you walking.
Depending on how you walking,
I
you
think
know?
it'll be a 40-minute stride for me, straight up. And I'm old. It'll be like a 40-minute stride. I don't see it.
Yo,
being
I think
no more.
we should do that a marathon, man. We should do that contest. Have you walk from right over there.
Shit.
Yeah,
Why I gotta be the one walking? I got a car. I'll drive that
I heard
shit.
that I'll meet you there.
So, I'm getting ready to get to these comments real quick.
Okay,
but,
we got comments.
Yeah, but I want to make this. I freaking posted it and fucking opened it up, and I don't know why it does this because it's the same freaking video, but it does. But here you go. This is a thought that I had, in when I was thinking about this book, as I was reading it, as I was thinking about this outline. It is not our differences that causes nor perpetuates division, rather our thought process and the negative connotation attached to those differences. Even the words attached to labels, color, size, etc., has its own feeling for every individual, but that's another conversation. But just think about that. It's not about our differences that causes and perpetuates division. It's our thought process and the negative connotation attached to the differences. Like if you're looking at somebody, like a lot of times when you look at somebody, it's the attributes you give them that make you feel how you feel. Sometimes you'll see somebody and you'll think to yourself, oh, they think they better than somebody. And it could just be because of how they dress or because they're swag. They might have this certain air about them.
They may
It's just
admire
like,
you. They really admire you, you know.
yeah, and you hating all damn day long. You don't even know. J Play Vine said, "What's up, Major?
Yes.
I want to ask you the hardest question
Yeah. I was just
that our
geeking at him,
people
man.
have been torn about for decades. The question that, if answered, will save society. So my question for you is, did OJ do it? Just kidding, bruh. Really? Thank you.
He shot out.
Yeah, he definitely shot out with that. Definitely shot out with that question.
Yeah.
Let me see. Christina said,
Christine, hey,
we
Christine.
get so stuck in ourselves now that we don't want help, even when it's beneficial to us. Oh, wait, I got to read that again. We get so stuck in ourselves now that we don't want help, even when it's beneficial to us. We have that I got it mentality. I don't need help. But we all get help from someone. And so many people have kids young. They grow up with their children and think that their friends, they feel like they are on the same level. People have lost morals that we used to have and replaced them with the YOLO mentality across the board. Let me tell you something. That's some deep shit. That's literally some deep shit. Hey, P, I hear you. I hear what you watching. Or is that me? That can't be. Is your phone down? Okay, cool. Let me tell y'all something. Honest to God truth. Think about that. We get so stuck in ourselves that we don't even want help, that we won't ask for it, because we are being groomed to think that we don't need nobody.
Yeah.
It's deep.
And we do. We need all the help we can get. We need all the resources, all the information, man, that we can get.
This book right here, it's a short read, but I think you need to get this book to read it. But I'm going to read it to y'all throughout this whole series. And it was something in this book that had really caught my attention. So he says, cardinal principles for making a nigger. We laid down the following principles for long-range comprehensive economic planning. Long-range comprehensive economic planning. You see, slavery was a business. And so we were never looked at, our ancestors weren't looked at as people. They were looked at as cattle. And we all come from broken people. They broke that cattle. Their terminology was like cattle. Let me break it down. Both horse and nigger are no good to the economy in the wild or natural state. Number 2, both must be broken and tied together for orderly production. Number 3, for the orderly futures, special and particular attention must be paid to the female and the young offspring. Number 4, both must be crossbred to produce a variety of division of labor. Now, I'm going to break something down to y'all. Number 5, both must be taught to respond to a particular new language. Number 6, psychological and physical instruction of containment must be created for both. Now, let me tell you, I don't really want to get real deep into certain aspects of this because it's for like my next show. But let me tell y'all something. Understand this and understand this clearly. When they say both must be crossbred to produce variety and division of labor, so let me explain to y'all what that meant. So he literally told the slave masters, the overseers, and even the slave masters' children to have sex with the female slaves in order to produce a variety of colors. In order to produce a variety of colors, but both must be crossbred to produce a variety of colors and division of labor. So what happens is, I'm gonna teach y'all why we hate different shades real quick. So he would go out, have sex with the slaves, rape them, right? They would bear children. Those children would grow up to work in the house. And as y'all know, they called them house niggas. And people dark as me and darker, we was out in the fields. Now, through no fault of that child that grows into an adult, through no fault of their own, they got a position based off of these principles to work in the house. Now, they dressed better, they ate better, they had better accommodations to sleep in. The field nigga would sit there and look at these motherfuckers walking past every day in these nice clothes and being fed. They look all healthy. They wasn't getting beat like that. And automatically, they started getting angry. They started getting angry at them light-skinned folks. Why are they getting this treatment? Oh, that's Master Little Porch Monkey. That's Master's favorite. Further proof, have 2 children, and a lot of y'all got kids where you treat one child better than another.
Thanks.
Most of y'all might be a product of that behavior. And then you wonder why one child is being called the golden child. Guess what? It happened in my family.
Yes, sir.
My youngest brother, that's the golden child. We called him the young prince. We did. Because he could do no wrong. No matter what he did, he could do no wrong. We called him the young prince. You got what I'm saying? So that's like being that field nigga, looking at that house nigga, and being like, oh, they think they better than us. So now it's internally creating hate, and simultaneously you're attaching that to a lighter skinned person.
Exactly.
You have children, you teach your children. This is just the way it is, this is the way it's gonna be. They love being up in there. And if you don't believe that, listen to how some of these females who have children talk about their father in front of their children or directly to their children.
Facts, man.
And you think that doesn't affect your child?
Oh, yes, it does. Definitely does.
Let me tell you, hate is taught. Mm-hmm. Even when it comes down to us, it's taught.
Everything is taught.
And believe you me, we learned it well. It is engineered inside of us. Let me see.
It's true.
Grown man said you got to go back to pit the old against the young, bro.
Hold on. Before you go to grown man, we love you, man. But listen, You forgot what Christina said. Christina said, "How long to walk?" See that?
Oh, an hour and a half walk.
Yes, God.
I did it before. Let me tell you. I can do that walk in about 40 minutes. If
All
the
right,
weather
Christina,
is
you hear that? It
nice,
sounds like a challenge, Christina.
yeah. Well, it ain't no challenge 'cause we ain't fitting to do that. Christina said my family is biracial, and I have seen it in my own family where if you were lighter, you got treated better. And it also divides because they think the lighter ones are more attractive. I have heard people say that about my brothers and sisters. Yes, because we have been taught that light skin is better, but it stems from Willie Lynch.
Yes.
It stems
Yes.
from Willie Lynch. He purposely said, matter of fact, he purposely said, let me get this down, that fear, distrust, and envy he uses fear, distrust, and envy for purposes of control. You know what I mean? The truth is, and I can't say it any better. He said, distrust is stronger than trust, and envy is stronger than adulation or respect. You know what I mean? Just think about that. You know how people say you can do 10 good things, but do one bad thing.
That's it.
And that's how people gonna view you.
Yep.
That's the thing people gonna remember. You know what I mean? So a lot of this stuff seems like a self-fulfilling prophecy in a way, because if somebody, it just like with distrust, it only takes for you to have trust in one person and for that one person to break that trust one time, then it's easy to trust no one.
Yep.
Certain people you kind of expect it from. You got what I'm saying? But when it's somebody that you trust, man, it hit a different way.
It hits real different.
It hits a different way. And like I said, remember this. Or the media perpetuates these feelings inside of us. It's certain shit I don't even let into my body. I won't even listen to that shit. I don't want to listen to nobody talking about, smack that hoe, smack that bitch. I don't want to listen to nobody saying that shit all the time. Because guess what? It's a lot of young girls and stuff getting abused, getting smacked up and stuff, because that's what's being pounded into their head 24/7.
And then for them to think that's love.
Yeah.
That's the hard part.
Man, let me
That's
tell you
the
something.
hard part, man. Because
I've been with somebody who was like that. Like they want the struggle. They want that struggle. And if you don't give them that struggle, they'll
feel
give
like
you a
they-
reason to bring it to them. They'll give you a reason. And if you don't do it, they'll lash out at you because that's what they understand. Love.
because they're damaged. They're actually, man, it's hard. And
Yeah.
it's a shame.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So his methodology basically was, number one, creating envy, because he took those shades, gave all those shades different positions. You got what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Gave all them shades different position. He created envy. Well, he didn't create envy. It's been around forever. But he created envy in the minds of the people that were enslaved. He made, basically, us envy ourselves. So every time we see someone of a different shade, we think they think they're better. We think that they think they're better looking. A lot of times we judge how we look based off of how they look. Christina was absolutely right, saying how, some people say that lighter skinned people are more attractive. You know what I mean? And I can't say necessarily that I ever say it out loud like, oh, a light-skinned person look better than me. But I can say that I've went out to clubs and stuff when I was younger, and if it was some light-skinned cat out there and he was doing his thing, I'm like, oh, well, everybody gonna be fawning over him. That's what I'm thinking in my head, But most of my friends was like, at least my complexion. I might have had like one or two light-skinned friends.
Yeah, but they probably didn't want to hang with you as much, did they?
What, light-skinned folks?
Yeah. He gotta say light-skinned folks.
No,
Yeah.
because they're lighter skinned.
Yeah, but
They're lighter skinned,
I think, man, it's just the world we living in. Still to this day, we still going through this.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's sad to say. It's sad to say, but we are still living this.
So I want to break down the definition of envy. So envy, which is part of his methodology to make us envy each other. Envy is a feeling of discontented or resentful longing aroused by someone else's possessions, qualities, or luck. Now, a lot of people think envy and jealousy is the same thing. Well, in a sense, they are. Jealousy is an unpleasant suspicion or apprehension of rivalship, unhappiness that breeds anger. You know what I mean? Jealousy breeds anger. You look at somebody and you don't like them because you covet what they have or what they want. And it's not necessarily always a possession. It could just be that somebody gets attention and you don't. You got what I'm saying? And that's another reason, like a lot of dark-skinned women may feel inside sometimes that if somebody is light-skinned, they're getting more attention than them. Or it's a lot of folks walking around with a lot of low self-esteem. But I remember when we was little, even as little kids, what was our insults to each other? You black tar baby.
Yeah.
You know? Just think about all the things that we said as children. You so black at night when you smile, all I can see is your teeth. Think about all the insults that we thought were funny at the time that we were doing them, but I promise you, it's what we heard.
But until my main man came by and said, "Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud."
Yeah.
And he gave us that, don't get me wrong. We know we try to keep, the momentum and believe in the dark skin, man, no matter what.
Yeah,
But
no doubt. But see,
it's-
even to say, people need to realize that, having melanin is a gift and not a curse. And having more melanin than one of your brothers or sisters don't make you any less.
Right.
Having less melanin, it doesn't make you any less.
Right.
But it's like we need those positive affirmations. Just sometimes some people that's dark skinned and how they may feel about themselves,
Yep.
they need those positive affirmations to feel good. Me personally, I don't need that shit.
That's right. We don't need that because
Yeah.
guess what? Guess what? I can make ugly cookies and be proud
And be just
about
fine
it. You
with
dig?
it.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Grown man said, you become part of what you consume consistently.
Grown
I
man, right.
agree.
Yes, sir, grown
Because
man.
even when we was little, if you watched the 5 Deadly Venoms, you was in the backyard with your friends. Hey, I remember me true. Come fight me. Yeah, we was all running around acting like that. We was all wanting to be Rocky. Nobody wanted to be Apollo.
Hold on,
Creed.
wrestling though. Remember WWF?
Yes, sir.
Boy,
Yes,
off
sir.
the top rope, off the top bunk
But
bed, whatever.
It goes to show that we watch these things in front of us, and that's what was poured into our bodies constantly.
Yeah.
And that's what we wanted to be. That's what we emulated. And then NWA and everybody came along, fuck the police. Now,
Oh, man,
that
did they
gave
ever.
a
Till somebody stole
different
my car.
feel. Because, see, we was used to a brand new dance called the Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah, how about that? I remember that.
We was used to Dana Dane, Nightmares of the Night. We was used to all of that. But NWA came along and it spun a new narrative. And what they experienced as life over on the West Coast, that's not what we was getting in our neighborhood. Not where
it was
I grew
disco.
up.
It was over here. It was just disco.
Everything
Everybody
was pretty
dancing.
cool,
Everybody
yeah.
was. Oh, I love Kool-Aid.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it came, fuck the police, and Uncle Luke came, and it was like, maybe I was too young at that time and wasn't experiencing that kind of life because I was a young teenager at that time.
Right.
You know what I
right.
mean?
I get it.
Yeah.
Uncle Luke,
So,
how about that?
Fear is an unpleasant emotion caused by the belief that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain, or is a threat. I also wanted to put down what fear-mongering was, and that's the action of deliberately arousing public fear or alarm about a particular issue. So, Willie Lynch sanctioned, through his methodology, fear-mongering because he wanted for the slave master to make his family and his overseers pretty much kind of like fear the slave, not like the slave at all.
Of course.
This is a wild animal. You know what I mean? And that's why he compared it very much to a horse and to a wild horse, and saying in their natural habitat they are useless and they can be dangerous. You got what I'm saying? That's what he said. So he came up with all of this because he was like, y'all losing money down here. He said, y'all hanging people, y'all killing people. You pay for this slave and you killing them.
Right.
That's losing money.
Right.
So I'm going to teach you how to break this slave so that it does what you want it to do. You got what I'm saying?
And you should never lose money after that.
Exactly. So we're at a point in life right now where our whole thing is trust no one.
Trust no one.
This is why nobody wants help, because the first thing somebody gonna say, oh, why? So they could throw it up in my face? You ever hear that?
Man.
They gonna throw it up in my face. Oh,
Yes.
nah, I don't need nobody to do nothing for me,
Yeah.
because all they gonna do is throw it up in my face.
But see, the problem is that you do need help.
All day.
We need it. And we gotta also accept the fact that, okay, it may get thrown up in your face.
Yeah,
It might, but guess what?
It just might.
I gotta be the bigger man also, acknowledge also,
Well,
that
you know what's crazy? Maybe
Yes,
if
sir.
we did acknowledge the fact that we actually got help, then
it
could
wouldn't
somebody
get
throw
thrown
it in your face? You know?
How about that?
Maybe if we gave credit where credit is due,
Think about that.
maybe sometimes the reason why people throw something up in your face is because maybe they didn't do it with the purest of heart, or maybe they did it with an expectation that later on down the road you may do something for them. And so typically,
How about that?
let's say you help somebody pay their rent, and because of you, they didn't get kicked out. Now let's say 2 months later, this same person needs a ride. And you be like, oh man, I worked all night. I'm kind of tired. I don't really feel like it. And they're like, well, damn.
Yeah.
I just helped them pay their rent.
Exactly.
They feel entitled,
Like you owe them.
like you owe them, because everybody doesn't do something from the heart. Everybody might, or they may have done it from the heart, but in the same token, they might feel like, since I've done this, down the road, they may do something for me. So it's almost like an expectation.
Expectation, exactly. And that's not good, man.
Yeah, they
That's
don't
not
want
good.
you to say no. They literally don't want you to say no. I want y'all to know I got a new pair of glasses too. I can actually read the screen now. That's why if you look at me, you don't see me squinting. I'm hyped up because I normally had to carry two. I got
He
these
said
for
I'm
my
hyped
birthday.
up.
I'm hyped.
That's
I
what's
am,
up,
no
man.
doubt.
See, you got some new eyes for your birthday, huh?
Yes,
there
sir.
you go.
Yes,
There
sir.
you
Hold
go.
on
See
one
that?
second. So let me see. Sharita Miller said, "Hey, cousin." She
Hey,
said,
cousin.
"Yes, cuz." Oh wait, let me go up to Grow Man first. He said, and that is they will enslave each other. Sharita said, "Yes, cuz, educate us. Thank you very much." Grow Man said, "But you got to understand, the same breaking process is still going on right now. If you look at things, same shit, different smell." Let me tell you something, Grow Man. I agree 100%. And as I said many times before, today, modern day slavery, if I got a little bit further in this book so I could break it down, let me tell you, modern day slavery is Section 8. Because Willie Lynch said he needed to divide the male from the house. And how he did that. So how he did that was he took the kids, the women, everything. They took the biggest, baddest slave. They tarred and feathered him. They tied him to 4 horses facing in different directions. Yeah. And the horses would rip them apart, right? After that sacrificial lamb, they would take the next man in front of the kids, the woman, and everything, and they would beat him into an inch of his life, but not killing, just beat him so badly, and everybody see you beat the fear of God into him, and that fear onto the women. And so now the woman feels like he can't protect me. He can't. If they wanted to do this to me or to my children, they could. And so then The women would raise their children. They had a little girl. They raised that little girl to be like them. How they felt inside. You have to be strong. You have to be like this. You can't depend on that man because they could just come and snatch him away. And in the way that they beat the slaves and all, the way that they would kill, it would make those men scared. So it's kind of like they're like, yo,
So they had to
I ain't going to run away because they catch me
They
just
ain't
looking
gonna
like
go
a bitch
against
to your
massa.
whole
Exactly,
family.
exactly.
Basically, like every bit of what they may have found secure inside of you got drained away. So then they raised their sons to hide behind their mothers. But don't take my word for it. Let me give you Mr. Willie Lynch's words, which is really, I really didn't want to do this because I'm jumping into another show that I kind of wanted to do. Let's see.
All right, at least it's not me taking you off your course this time.
Oh, no, sorry. No. Hold on. We breed 2 nigger males with 2 nigger females. Then we take the nigger males from them, keep them moving and working. Say the one nigger female bear a nigger female, and the other bears a nigger male. Both nigger females, being without the influence of the nigger image, froze with an independent psychology, will raise their offspring into reverse positions. The one with the female offspring will teach her to be like herself, independent and negotiable, will negotiate with her, through her, by her, and negotiate at her will. The one with the nigger male offspring, she being frozen with a subconscious fear for his life, will raise him to be mentally dependent and weak, but physically strong. In other words, body over mind. Now, in a few years, when these offspring become fertile for early reproduction, we will mate and breed them and continue the cycle. That is good, sound, and long, comprehensive planning. Let me tell you something. Every time I read this, I'm just like, fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. Tell me what I read right now you don't fucking see. Matter of fact, let me tell you one better. You hear what I just read. What you tell your kids about the police?
Do what they tell you. Do what they say.
Do what they say. Don't start no trouble.
Yo.
Don't talk back.
It's
Don't
crazy
this.
because
Don't
the
that.
police be the ones that overstep their boundaries.
This motherfucking book was written in 1712. 1712. 1712. Tell me you don't see fucking today. Tell me you don't see today. You know why we can't work together? You know why we can't get, everybody always say, well, why can't we come together? This is why we can't come together. This, the skeletons of this, the ghost of this is why we can't come together. And the sad part about anything and everything is it's out there for us all to know.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, yo, I don't give a fuck if you take a 5-minute clip of this and share it. Because it's information we need to know. It's conversations we need to have. If I get some ass and tits behind me, I'll go viral.
Yes, God.
If I take a loaded gun and stick it to my head, I'll go viral. If me and Major started fucking fighting, I'll go viral. But I tell you the truth,
That ain't viral enough.
I might get like 200 people listen to it.
That's
200
hard.
people watch it.
It's real. It's real.
But as I said, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. If I talk to one person, if one person hears this conversation, and later on down the road, they'll be the one to pick up the torch and really make something happen, man, I left my mark.
That's right.
Fuck that. I left my fucking mark. We need to talk about this. This is me reading these books. Me The one I'm working on now is called medical apartheid. And this is how the doctors and stuff came up with a lot of procedures because they did a lot of that research and stuff on slaves. Let me tell you something, especially on females, man, females had it so fucking bad. Had it so fucking bad. Let me tell you something. I don't want to go off on a tangent, but I'm about to. Let me tell you how those people in Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Black Wall Street, they dropped fire bombs of turpentine and fire onto them neighborhoods. They burnt down about 10,000 homes, killed about 300 plus people. No white man had been. Now, this is the crazy part because the law and everything said the young lady would not sign an affidavit saying she got raped. She said she didn't get raped. But a couple of white folks got the word on it, and I think it was envy that Black Wall Street was doing so good. And so they wanted to come and get blood. Let me tell you, for all that destruction, even in the newspaper, their local newspaper said they won't, when they come home, they'll be coming home to a pile of dust. And whatever they didn't burn down, them white folks looted. And to this day, the insurance companies never even paid out the money that they owed those people in that community because it was no wrongdoing on their part that destroyed their family. It was more money on Black Wall Street than it was in America. It was one of the richest cities. You would think that at least their ancestors could at least get paid those insurance things. I think the estimated wealth in that area was upwards of like $5 billion or something.
Stop playing.
Yeah, we're right. They literally couldn't even get their money out the bank because their ID cards, stuff like that, you don't have no banking information. You don't carry that shit with it. It was all destroyed. And the bank would not give them their money. The insurance companies would not, fill their request to get their coverage from being insured all that time.
No claims.
And not one white person was charged, but several African Americans was charged with inciting a riot. Man, they shot down kids, they shot down women, they shot down men, all innocent. People running for their lives. And to this day, those aren't the things we learn in school. And the fucked up part.
They never teach you that in
The
school.
fucked up part, the real fucked up part is y'all keep listening to these cats in school. Keep listening to these cats in school. They don't teach us our history.
Never.
And answer me this. Why is it that most of our history is just about wars and fucking slavery?
In countries that we trying to get oil from.
Yeah. Wars, slavery. They tell us how good people were. Oh, well, Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves. Well, ask yourself, why did Abraham Lincoln free the slaves? You think Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves because he thought it was wrong and people shouldn't own people? That's not why the fuck he did it. They was getting afraid because a lot of slaves was escaping and going over state lines and trying to get away and everything else. It was during a time of war. It had nothing to literally do with wanting to see African Americans free. Shit, I don't subscribe to half the shit we got here.
Of course. And that's why the jail system got in place once the slaves were free and they so-called freed the slaves.
Well,
they had it in place the jail.
Our American system of policing initially started out as slave patrols. And then we celebrate in Juneteenth. Let me tell y'all something. So
some people fighting.
Juneteenth started in Texas. And of course, I'm sure y'all know, I'm not going to assume nobody don't, but y'all know that when the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, there was still slaves for an additional 2 years. Juneteenth is celebrated because that's when, you didn't know that?
That was originally when they were told
They were
free, but a lot of them didn't tell their slaves.
Didn't tell their slaves they were free.
They did not tell their
So,
slaves.
so we celebrate. This is another thing why I don't really subscribe to holidays like that. And even most holidays that we have are pagan holidays. I mean, come on. A lot of this shit is like made up, and we all just standing in line with the boo-boo the fool, please help me shirt on. I mean, come on. Come on. It's like, let me tell y'all something. I did a live earlier, and I'm pretty sure most of y'all probably didn't see it, but it's fine. Backhanded compliments. I don't know about if y'all ever experienced this, but backhanded compliments. So I take my daughter to take her laptop back to the school, and there was, I'm not even going to tell y'all about both the things that happened. I'm just going to tell y'all one because I'm supposed to be focused on something else, and I'm going to try to rein back into that. I'm also going to give Major a chance to give out his Facebook and Instagram and everything. So I take my daughter inside the school, right? I'm going to avoid the first problem because I just get too upset if I talk about it. But I'm going to tell y'all about the backhanded compliment that I got from the white lady. So she looks at my daughter's laptop, flips it all around, looks at the bag, looks at the charger. She was like, this is in really good condition. I'm looking at this chick like, what is it supposed to be dirty? Is it supposed to be broken? Is it supposed to be malfunctioning? Like, if you were at a white school and a white child gave you this laptop, would you have said the same thing? Now, of course, like I said, my daughter was smiling. What I didn't tell y'all is when we got out to the parking lot, I said something to my daughter about it. You got what I'm saying? But see, my daughter didn't quite get it. She didn't really understand because to her, it was a compliment. But to me, it was a flat out insult. It's like one time this white lady told me how articulate I was when I spoke. I said, what the fuck? What am I supposed to be sitting here like, blah, 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 blah? Like, is that what you were expecting? Were you expecting me to say, yo, sup, give me 5 on the black hand side, you jive ass turkey? You know, what was I supposed to do?
Yeah, that was disrespectful.
Yeah, oh my God, disrespect ain't even a motherfucking word. Let me tell you. But let me tell you how much I've been indoctrinated. Matter of fact, fuck it. When I first walked into the school, I went to the first table I was supposed to go to. Mm-hmm. There was an Asian lady. She would not look at me nor address me. She didn't even show me the paperwork I was supposed to sign. She stood with her shoulder between me and my daughter and held it to the side where my daughter could see it, but I could not. She never even spoke to me. Wow. And I let it go the first time. And I say the first time because there was a second assault. When the lady told us just to go over to the table and we didn't need the paper, we get to the table where the other lady insulted me. And then turned around and told me I had to go back and get a piece of paper. But the Asian lady met us halfway, and she proceeded to do the same thing that she did the first time. And so I had to interject. And I said, excuse me, why are you just explaining this to my daughter? There's a form I have to fill out. So why are you just explaining it to my daughter? And she said, oh, she's smart enough to do it. And she walked off. Walk the fuck off. Dang. I was like, man, if I had a brick in the back of that head, I was so angry. And so just for my own sanity, I sat down, I looked at it. One of the questions was asking what type of tablet it was. So for shits and giggles, I looked at my daughter and I said, well, what type of tablet is that, baby? And she was like, a Chromebook. Wrong answer. I didn't say that to her, but that's the wrong answer.
Right,
they're all Chromebooks.
Every last one of them was.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You have an Acer, which they're a piece of garbage anyway. And why wouldn't you be explaining the form to me when if anything was wrong with it, who was going to pay for it? My daughter?
You're the responsible one.
Exactly.
Didn't you have to sign for that
yes,
anyway?
Yes, I did.
Wow.
Yo, I don't mean to be yelling in y'all ear, but
nah, it's all good. Disrespect goes a long way, man. Disrespect goes a long way.
Oh my God, does it ever? And the sad part,
I told you, I was disrespected. I've been banned from McDonald's.
How'd you get banned from
I
McDonald's?
got banned from McDonald's, you know what I'm saying, for wanting fresh food.
What you mean?
Well, I wanted hot fries, and I wanted them fresh out the grease,
Yeah.
for the most part. But the manager, for some odd reason, thinks that I give them a hard time, So
Because you want fresh fries.
well, listen, at this particular time, she was, waiting on the side. She had my bag on the side, so I goes around and I looks. She says to me, "Oh, you don't have to look. We know how you want your food." I said, "But these are my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
These are my eyes. You get me?" So, in that sense, she says to me, "Well, you give us a hard time, about when, I said, "That's not a hard time about your performance, about me wanting something
What
fresh
you
that
want,
I'm
what
paying
you're
for."
paying for?
And man, I pursued. She said, "Well, you can go to another McDonald's." I pursued to take out my camera, and she going to put it as if I'm recording the kids. I said, "No, I'm recording myself talking to you to make sure that I'm conveying what you're saying and that I'm not allowed in here or whatever."
Wow.
She picks up the phone and says, "Yes, there's a man here. He is videotaping kids." I stood out front. I'm
She
telling
called
you.
the cops?
I don't know if she called them or not, but first of all, I should have already known. 911 doesn't pick up that fast.
Let me tell
First
you
of all.
something, but that's people choice
Terrible.
of weapon.
Somebody said they
anymore
hollered at
anyway.
me, man. Bro, man, you hollering at me too. They all laughing. Everybody laughing. I said, I got banned from McDonald's, man. I don't like
Wow.
it. I'm upset.
Wow.
I'm irate.
Nah, the sad part
distraught.
is she called somebody, which I'm assuming is the police. Now, what if
Exactly.
those police showed up? You upset because this is bullshit and you're
Exactly.
expressing your discontent and you fuck around and get shot for some fucking hot fries.
Listen, I stood out there and I waited. I said, if she's calling the police, I'm going to stand out here and I'm going to wait. But then I thought about it. Why should I let my son fries get hot or cold? Because she wants to be, and then why call the police on a black man anyway after
Yeah.
all we going through?
Yeah, well, because that's their answer for everything. Their answer for everything is call the cops. But let me mind you all, this man said it himself. He said that your family needs to fear the slave. But the slave needs to have respect and adulation for the master. Now, let me tell you something. We don't realize this, but sometimes I've seen people be more nice to white folks than black folks.
Oh, yes. I said, what?
They sit up a little bit straighter, use their best voice.
Man.
I've seen that in person.
They be like, how you doing, sir? Then as soon as I say, yo, what's
Yeah.
up? Yo, what you want, man? What's up? I ain't got time for that.
I've seen people literally hold the door for white people and let the door close for black people. I'm in and out of a lot of places, and I'm a people watcher. I sit back. I like to see what people do. I know it sounds
course.
like some creeper shit.
You observe.
But I like the people.
You gotta say I observe. Say you're
Yeah.
a people observer, because
Yeah.
watching make it seem like you,
Make it seem creepy.
boy, you're low profile, stalker. You
Bro,
dig? No.
let me take this back. Let me take this back.
Okay, yes,
I need
yes.
to take this back. So, y'all heard what I said. Y'all literally heard what I said. So, I need to run over this one more time because I want to make sure that you overstand. This is called the Negro Marriage Unit. We breed 2 nigger males with 2 nigger females. Then we take the nigger males from them, keep them moving and working. That way, the man is out of the house anyway. And a lot of people think like Section 8 is like this really great thing. But quite honestly, Section 8 requires you to not have that man in your household.
Right.
So yeah, you can pay your rent. It's giving you the illusion of independence. You're not freaking independent because, like I said, Uncle Sugar Dick over there really paying most of your rent.
Yeah.
But he'll let you know on a heartbeat, you let another motherfucker in here, I'm not fucking with you like that.
Exactly.
I'm not fucking with you like that.
Facts.
See, they know that if we come together the way it's supposed to be, if we can truly get past this psychological game, if we could get past this, and I'm reading you these words, if you never read it before, like I said, Willie Lynch, the Willie Lynch letter and the making of a slave. You need to really absorb this, and not only absorb it, but you need to talk to your kids about it. You need to talk to your friends about it. And like I said, I wish my voice was big enough to reach across the world. And honestly, I wish I could just punch the shit out of people and just magically fucking make them
Embedded in them, huh?
listen to what it is that's being said. Just listen. I mean, for your own fucking sake, for your own sanity. Look at what's being done. Let me tell you something. When you're sitting in your car in the middle of the street, and there's a fucking car in front of you, and it's your brother or sister sitting up there talking, holding up traffic, and you got places to be. And clearly there's a parking spot up on the right. If they just move up and park right there, they can have their conversation. You honk your horn, bimp, and they turn around like motherfucker, they gonna wait today.
Yeah.
They gonna wait today. Let me tell you something. In their life, that may be the only thing they have control over. That may be the only thing they have control over, is that space and that time making you wait on their clock. Because their whole life is waiting. They might have to go down there and wait at welfare. They might have to go down there and wait at children and youth services. They may have to go down there and wait at the Colony building. It ain't the Colony building no more, but for Section 8 or what have you. You know, it's so much shit that goes on and affects us, but I'm literally telling you, Uncle Sam winds up being your sugar daddy. Uncle Sam winds up taking care of you and your family. He has replaced your man.
Yes, God.
But then it's being reinforced through music and movies. Yeah, you don't need nobody. Oh, yeah, here you go. Can you pay my bills? Can you pay my telephone bill? And I know that's old as shit.
But why also when the man gets reared for child support, why they take his license?
Oh, that's just what they do in life, man. I don't fucking know.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, this is all in playing with the whole.
Well, the whole thing is, let me explain something. So at the end of the day, you lay down with a woman and you have a child. And matter of fact, I'm going to break this down. I'm glad you said that.
Let's go.
Hold on. Everything, any question you got, I could look in this little fucking book and pull up a passage that'll show you the resemblance to what it is. So hold on. Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one. Boom, 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 for example. Boom, boom. Okay, I want to read this. For example, if you put a slave in a hog pen and train him to live there and incorporate in him to value it as a way of life completely, the biggest problem you would have out of him is that he would worry you about provisions to keep the hog pen clean or partially clean, or he might not worry you at all. On the other hand, if you put this same slave in the same hog pen and make a slip and incorporate something in this language whereby he comes to value a house more than he does his hog pen, you got a problem. He will soon be in your house. So let me tell y'all something. Everybody run around and it's okay. You can have pride in your hood and everything else, but do we really have pride in our hood when our hood is that pig pen? And the slip is, as soon as you go across the city lines and you get into the white neighborhoods, and we go out there and we can dream as we drive past. You got what I'm saying? We can dream as we drive past, but they've taught you to love the hog pen, the pig pen you live in. You love it. Man, motherfuckers will tell you, oh man, I love my city. I love my, why? Tell me why. Tell me why.
Yeah, I was one of them.
You
I ain't
can
never
tell
leaving my
me-
city.
Let
I'm
me
not
tell
never
you
leaving.
something. I love my people all over this world. It don't matter where the fuck they come from. I love my people. Tell me why you love where you live so fucking much. The place where you got to look both ways when you walking out your front door. Why do you love it so much? Why? Because people look like you? But the logic here is you don't trust anybody. You don't want anybody to do anything for you because you don't believe that they're going to do what they're supposed to do. Or if they do, you think they'll throw it in your face. What's so wonderful about our hood? Can somebody explain to me? Matter of fact, I'm looking in the comments. Somebody tell me why we love our hood so much. The place that don't give a fuck about you, the place that doesn't love you back. Why do we love our hood so much? Why? Because it's our hog pen. It's our hog pen. Most people would take their Section 8 and say, oh, well, in a year, you can move out and move somewhere else. But you move to the same places that resemble your hog pen. No doubt.
Some of us do.
Well, some of us do, but some of us wind up being able to afford to have better accommodations.
That's true.
But what I'm saying is most people will say that they love the hood. And it's no real reason except for there are people there who look like you.
And one other thing, I'm only adding this in because there's a singer, rapper / J. Cole.
Yeah.
I never even heard of him, but he moved in the suburbs. And he did a little segment where the neighbors, think he was selling drugs, so they called the police on him. Yeah, you have to watch it.
I saw that.
You see that, right? So
yeah.
it's like he's moving away from the environment that he's in to be in a positive, to live somewhere where I think he should be better and he feel more.
Well,
Once
again, as I said, in here, teach your family to be afraid of those slaves. And he said in the very beginning, fear, envy, and distrust. Fear, envy, and distrust. That's all you need. Fear, envy, and distrust. And this will be self-replicating for years to come. And we're still suffering from the effects of this bullshit.
Definitely.
And the problem is that we won't have these conversations. Or you'll get a bunch of woke people talking to woke people. It's weird. We'll run a church. And, okay, let me run something by y'all. Number one, I believe in God. I believe in higher power. I'm very spiritual. Yes, I am. I pray when I eat my food. I thank God for everything.
That's right.
But let me explain something to y'all. What I do understand is my ancestors did not have the same outlook. My ancestors did not have the same God. My ancestors did not look at all of this in the same way that my ancestors did not look at religion in the same light as Christianity. That's all I'm saying. So in all actuality, whatever I believed was beat out of my people. What I will be believing today was beat out of my people. Just like the language that we spoke, our tongues were taken away and installed was a new language. And I'm glad I said that because let me hit up on this. Controlled language, that's in this book. So let me break it down. Crossbreeding completed for further severance from their original beginning. He said this in fucking 1712. Let me say it again. Crossbreeding completed. For further severance from their original beginning, we must completely annihilate the mother tongue to both the new nigger and the new mule and institute a new language that involves the new life's work of both. Language is a peculiar institution. It leads to the heart of the people. The more a foreigner knows about the language of another country, the more he is able to move through all levels of that society. Therefore, if the foreigner is an enemy of another country, to the extent that knows the body of the language, to that extent is the country vulnerable to attack or invasion of a foreign culture. For example, you take a slave. If you teach him all about your language, he will know all your secrets, and he is then no more a slave, for you can't fool him any longer. A being is a fool is one of the basic ingredients of and incidents to the maintenance of the slavery system. Let me tell y'all something. I just got a flashback while I was reading this. I just got a flashback.
Come on with it.
In the Garden of Eden, there was the tree of knowledge. God told Adam not to eat from the tree of knowledge, nor the tree of life. And so when Adam questioned God about why he couldn't eat from the tree of knowledge, God told him, because if he ate from that tree, he would know as God knew.
He would know as God
As
knew.
God knew. So he would know what God knows.
So how can I keep him in my slave if he knows what I know, if he eat from that tree? You dig me? Thanks.
Look,
All right.
Yo, let me tell you, this is crazy. That just popped in my head, but this is what I be talking about, doing a lot of reading and shit like that. And it just flashed me to that point. I got this specific picture in my head. Whenever you read a book, you paint a picture of the characters. You paint a picture of everybody in the book. So I always had this picture in my head of, man, that sent chills up my fucking spine. Hold on. Wow. For example, you take a slave. If you teach him all about your language, he will know all your secrets. And he is then no more a slave, for you can't fool him any longer. Being a fool is one of the basic ingredients of an incidents to the maintenance of the slavery system. Being a fool, you get to remain a slave. It is important to the slavery system that you don't know. It is important to the slavery system that you're not smart enough. Guess what? Look at our educational system. Why do they teach down to our children? Shit, this fucking pandemic happened. Yeah, they fucking gave everybody an Acer or Chromebook in the hood. But I bet you them better school district, they didn't need no computers because they already have Apples and shit. It's part of their gear that they are given during the school year.
During the year.
They automatically get that.
They don't have to wait for a pandemic.
Why is cursive not in our school district? Cursive is needed for your payroll signature. There are children right now who cannot write their payroll signature. Help me understand. Wow. Help me fucking understand. Oh, yeah, that's right. Willie Lynch said it right there. Being a fool is one of the basic ingredients and incidents to the maintenance of the slavery system. Damn. Now, one more on that language thing. For example, if you told a slave that he must perform in getting out our crops, and he knows the language well, he would know that our crops didn't mean our crops, and the slavery system would break down, for he would relate on the basis of what our crops really meant. You get it? That might sound confusing, so let me break it down. So when you tell a slave to get our crops, you don't want him to understand that our crops means our crops. But see, I always thought to myself, that's why the English language was so hard to understand. It's hard for foreigners because one word can mean so many different things. See, English is a language inside of a language inside of a language. And see, we've created our own language to which we understand. Yeah, I mean, we say shit like that.
Yeah.
And we create our own language where we figure, this is ours. But the language that we created is not the language for taking over shit, for understanding shit on a different level.
The original language.
Yes, sir. So, let me read some of these comments, bro, because I know I've been going on and on, and I'm way off.
It's all good, man.
So, we get stuck in our.
That's what we here for, man. That's what we here for, man.
Grown man said you gotta go back to pit the old against the young. Oh, that was really early on.
Yeah. You right now. You should be right now. You should be at the point where it says.
Well, I'm just gonna start from. Grown man said the system. What special program you see for black men? None. Tracy said, "How you doing, Tracy?" Said to keep you down. Wow. Christina said, Section 8 is set up so you can never get married, never move ahead, never able to make more than this line Otherwise, you lose everything. There are generations of people that have been part of the system. They become so addicted to it because it is easy. It's right there. They give us what we need, so we think we don't need each other. I love it. Sharita said, Wayne, that has nothing to do with this show, Sharita. Wayne, miss you, fam. Grown Folks Friday is messed up right now. Let me see. All the way messed up. Wayne said, Grown Man said, because I know the potential you seen it possible before, old man, just like me. Yes, sir. Sharita said, we've been trained. Indeed. Tracy said, we really don't, but it's all we got. That's when I was talking about us being in our community and what you love about your community per se.
Why you don't want to leave your community.
Why you don't want to leave it. Grown Man said lack of education. Tracy said the veil is being removed. I so agree with you. Wayne said, shit, not. I love my hood. Just wasn't willing to live there once I got old enough to move on my own. Yeah, you can love your hood, but you're not willing to live there. So how much do you love your hood? You know what I mean? That's I love my kids, but I'm not willing to raise them. But
you're supporting them.
I love God. I'm just not willing to pray. You got what I'm saying?
Yeah,
See,
you can't. I get it.
It's what you got to understand the word love meaning. You got what I'm saying? Even if you leave, what do you give to your hood that you love so much? You got what I'm saying? See, we don't even know nor understand love. Love is unconditional. Love will put you in a situation. Like, let me tell y'all something. Call me brainwashed, call me whatever, but I love the military. And you know why I loved being in the military? Because, number one, I didn't have to question somebody having my back. Number two, people did what they were supposed to do. If you were supposed to take care of this over here, I was supposed to take care of this over here. And then at this time, we got together and put both things together so we can get this done over there for these folks. That's what happened. It was orderly. And maybe because I like order in my life, do I like the military or love the military? I think it forces people from all walks of life to come together. And no matter what you feel inside, half the time I feel that that's how people truly learn about culture and other people's ethnicities and everything. Because if you don't live a life where you're around Asians day in and day out, around Africans day in and day out, around white people day in and day out, where y'all living together, where y'all working together, where it's like a community that has to depend on each other, and bullets are flying down range, and you're planning on having somebody have your back. You got what I'm saying? You get to learn people better, and you see through and past stereotypes, and you wind up saying, damn, this is nothing like what I've been told.
This is
because
nothing like
we are told how people are. White people are told how black people are.
Stereotype.
Black people are told how white people are, and we react and act accordingly. Just putting it out there. Grown Man said, your ancestors didn't even have the same Bible. No, sir. No, sir. Grown Man also said, my bad, but if you on Section 8 inbox me, I'll show you how to buy a house and you don't have to pay me anything. Y'all hear that? If you on Section 8 out there and you watching, please inbox Grown Man.
Yo, what about people that's not on Section 8, Grown Man? Can you help them people?
I'm sure you can probably help anybody if you know how to do it.
That's right.
Christina said, yes, labeling black children, more so they adapt to the behaviors, and in turn they become that, grow up thinking there's something wrong with them and just settle and don't strive to become more. Let me tell you something. I said this before. It's so many IEPs, individual education plans. They want everybody to label their children. I've never seen so many labeled individuals in my life with mental disabilities, learning disabilities. And most of the time, most people know they can get a check.
Yeah, that's what they do. They depend on that
check. But is your child's future worth that check?
No, it's not.
Let me tell you something. I don't give a fuck. I'm never going to let anybody label any one of my children. And I'll tell you this. All children grow at different rates because they are fucking people. Children are people. They're just young people. But they grow into older people. We all grow at different rates. Some of us, we love to read. Some of us love to write. Some of us don't like to do either. Grown-ass people out here don't read. That don't make them slow. There are some people who can build you a house from the ground up. And some people who can't even change a fucking light bulb. Can't work a ladder properly. They might be able to put it up, but they don't know how to put it down. Mm-hmm. You got what I'm saying?
That's right.
It's grown men out there don't know how to change a fucking tire.
Facts.
But they might be able to write you a mortgage. They might be able to fucking, I don't know, edit a book for you. You got what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That
It's
is
whatever
no
they
play on
gravitated.
their intelligence. Is what you gravitate towards
That's right.
as a person.
That's right.
So what? Your fucking child doesn't do what most children at this age group is doing at this
Exactly.
fucking moment.
Exactly.
So the fuck what? If your child ain't sitting there looking at the wall fucking drooling, if your child is not talking and can't communicate, and your child is like freaking 5 years old, I can understand you being concerned.
That's right.
But don't let nobody tell you your child is slow. You know your child better than anybody. And fuck that money because it ain't worth a
Well,
fucking label.
that's the problem. That's the problem, man. They got to see past the money. They got to not look at a check for their child. Take that away. Take that away, man.
Man,
because-
let me tell you something. See, they made us love money more than we love each other.
Of course.
We love money more than we love anything. We act like let me tell y'all something about money. So, for everybody out there that can't swim, if you were on a boat with $1 million and that boat started sinking, that $1 million ain't going to do shit for you. It's just going to sit there and you will sink. Actually, it'll help you sink a little faster because that's weight. Would you choose to throw it overboard, or you going to try and hold on to a Common Islands? We always looking at a dollar amount for everything. I know people that won't do shit for nobody unless it's a dollar attached to it.
Oh, that's a fact.
Let me tell y'all something. It's so funny because a lot of these cultures will get together. They'll get a big house, live in a house, mom, dad, older children, their children, grandchildren, all that shit, and be banking money. And they'll turn around and buy another property. And they'll turn around and buy another property. You got what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They create their own generational wealth. But for some reason, a lot of us can't do that. A lot of us can't stand each other. A lot of us can't even stand our own damn family.
How about that?
A lot of us don't even want to look at each other half the time. You know what I mean? A lot of us hate on each other.
Easy.
You know? And it's so funny. We've created these words to make it easy to justify our envy of people. We make up these words to justify our jealousy of each other. We make up these words to justify our own wrongdoing. Let me tell you something. Somebody could be scamming old people. You could call them on their bullshit. First thing they're going to yell out is, man, you hating on my hustle. You hating on me. No, motherfucker, you cheating old people. There's something wrong with that. You know what I mean? Yeah. A lot of us, we don't want to turn around and get the law involved, and we might know where a shooter lives at. This motherfucker getting our block shot up every other day. But don't nobody want to say nothing. Don't nobody want to say nothing. Don't nobody want to be a snitch. You tell me how a policy is started to help circumnavigate getting caught by the police or anything, or literally being pulled to justice for the things that you do in a community. You're destroying your own community. How does that turn into a no snitching policy that is carried on behind bars and spills out into the streets? Like, okay, in jail, you might not want to snitch on nobody because maybe you're going to catch a shank or something. I don't fucking know. But why should I allow you to run my streets, doing what the fuck you want to do, and I can't let my kids outside to play? Somebody explain that to me. So how am I a snitch when I want to keep my streets safe for my children to play? See, it's the slave mentality that has us shackled and chained.
And that's a double standard right there.
All day. All day. Shit. This motherfucker. He said, oh man, that fucking kill. Every time this book is so small. The breaking process of the African woman. Let me read that again. The breaking process of the African women. Now, to all of you ladies out there listening to me tonight, if you don't share this, that's fine. But if you can just clip off what I'm about to read from this book, fuck what I say after that. But just from what I read from right here, the breaking process of the African woman, here you go. Then take the female and run a series of tests on her to see if she will submit to your desire willingly. Test her in every way because she is the most important factor for good economics. If she shows any sign of resistance and submitting completely to your will, do not hesitate to use the bullwhip on her to extract the last bit of bitch out of her. Take care not to kill her, for in doing so, you spoil good economics. When in complete submission, she will train her offspring in the early years to submit to labor when they become of age. Understanding is the best thing. Therefore, we shall go deeper into this area of the subject matter concerning what we have produced here in this breaking process of the female nigger. We have reserved relationships. In her natural, uncivilized state, she would have a strong dependency on the uncivilized nigger male. And she would have a limited protective tendency toward her independent male offspring and would raise the female offspring to be dependent like her. Nature had provided time with this balance. Rewind. Nature had provided time with this balance. Speaking on how the African American female would depend on the African male to protect her. And she wouldn't worry so much about her son. She wouldn't worry so much about her son because her son would have emulated his father. So you would not only have a strong father, but a strong son. And the female would depend on her counterpart. Now, make no mistake, the man depends on the female as well. I don't want you to think this is a pissing contest, because I assure you it is not. But right now, what we're focusing on is his words when it comes to the African American, well, the African female, present day African American. So what he is saying literally is teach her to be dependent on you and not her man. Section 8. Oh, child support. Not saying that, let me tell you, these are all conversations. So nothing is ever that simple. I understand. But why should you depend on a man when you could depend on your master? I mean, let's call it what it is. I mean, Uncle Sam is your master, correct? He's paying for you to stay where you stay. He's feeding your family. He's giving you health care. What a nice sugar daddy. What a beautiful sugar daddy, a beautiful arrangement.
You didn't even have to sleep with him.
Yeah, and he doesn't give a fuck about who you fuck. All he cares about is don't have that nigga living here. Man, it's easy to keep us in turmoil because the divisions have already been set in place. Age, shade of your color, tall, short, intelligent, size, course of hair, fucking hair.
Hey, now it's getting to the point to where it's people are judging you by who you vote for, how much money you make. That it's all You know, if you don't make this certain amount of money, you consider this or, you know, that group of people. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
come on, man.
So I was asked the title of this book. Once again, this I call this a manuscript. It is for people to follow, for slave masters to follow. It is Willie Lynch. So it's the Willie Lynch letter, but it is also the making of a slave. You got what I'm saying? So he wrote a letter to, he was invited to America to teach masters on plantations how to maximize their profits.
You got a picture of this guy?
No, I do not. To maximize their profit. And you're absolutely right, bro, man. Just like Jay-Z, I guess, it's the blueprint. This is the blueprint. But if you read this, I swear to you, everything that's in this book, look how big it is. It's like a pamphlet. It's like a fucking pamphlet. But I promise you, everything you read in this book, look outside. Look around you. Let me tell you something. I don't care what nobody say. I don't watch hood movies. I don't watch hood movies. Because let me tell you what hood movies is about. Hood movies is about emulation, where it's our culture emulating the Italians. It's our culture. I mean, we live off this shit. I can't even tell you how many African Americans run around talking about I'm Scarface. I know he's not Italian. Run around talking about I'm Scarface. Everything that's geared to our community is gangster related. Gangster related. There's nothing about education. There's nothing about doctors. There's nothing about lawyers. The shit, it's barely anything about wholesome families. And then what happened to the wholesome families? All of a sudden, fucking, you got Bill Cosby drugging, roofing people and licking clits. And at the end of the day, decades pass by. You wait until this man get ready to acquire a network. And once he gets to acquire a network, the Me Too movement starts. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that something happened. I'm not saying that nothing happened. But shit, I can tell you a lot of motherfuckers that's richer in Hollywood or getting started that get fucking high, that do shit. It's a lot of motherfuckers suck dick for a whole lot less. I promise you. Now, I'm not victim blaming or nothing else. All I'm saying is the shit seemed fishy to me. The shit, and it's so funny how the general public at large will be so quick to run and save the chastity of the Caucasian female and the Caucasian female victim. But I don't see nobody paying back Black Wall Street. As a matter of fact, there's a story I want to bring y'all about how they got all the advancements that they got on cancer. Honest to God, true. I don't really want to say too much on it because I don't have everything in front of me. But there was a young lady who, back in the day, she had a special quality to her blood or skin, whatever the case it may be. But it was so special that it allowed them to make like breakthroughs in cancer. And they stole, the doctors and stuff stole like some of her material and stuff, some of her body, some of her blood. And those families that should be getting money off of that, they just not at all. I'm gonna take a quick break real quick. Can you tell everybody where to find you, how to follow you on Instagram, Facebook, all that good shit?
Yes. My name is Major. I'm Chester, PA. My Facebook page is, you can find me at Downtown Jaboukie Brown, all one word, _Major. And my Instagram is Major LLC. I know we're going to map that out to where the actual Facebook can match up with the Instagram. But until now, this is where it is. And also, You can also find me at the vacant and non-vacant parking lots, dollar stores, and maybe at the laundromats. You know, you may find me at certain places that I shouldn't be, but I'll find you if you don't find me. And don't forget, this Saturday, Night of the Gods, come through.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, God.
Okay, let me give y'all this information real quick. So, David Sony Lax Jr., Henrietta Lax, born Loretta Pleasant, August 1st, 1920, October 4th, 1951, was an African-American woman whose cancer cells are the source of the HeLa cell line, the first immortalized human cell line and one of the most important cell lines in medical research. Boom. Look her up. Look her up. Look up her story. Let me tell you something. If not for this African American, listen, the first immortalized human cell line and one of the most important cell lines in medical research. They stole her cells. They stole that material from her body. They made all of these freaking advancements and everything based off of this woman's cells because her body was so special. Her family got nothing. Nothing. How much is chemo? How much is all that bullshit? All these breakthroughs? How much is all of that? See, let me explain something to you. We've been getting robbed forever. But you know why? Let me tell you something. I would literally rather say that I choose not to yield to this way of thinking. There are people in my community right now that work against me. And I used to be angry at them and I couldn't understand. Let me tell you, all of this, because I've heard of this book before. I was just like a lot of other people. I never read it. I chose to read other things and look at other things. But let me tell you something. For some reason lately here, I just have to figure out, why are we doing this to each other? Let me tell you something. Everybody knows I do the poetry shows and comedy and all that jazz. Everybody know I put together venues and events for entertainment and everything.
That's good.
And once I closed down my cafe, I stopped doing it, right? And then I started doing it again. I went back to the same street that I started doing those shows on when I owned the cafe. And literally, the same men was doing the same thing. You know, they stopped doing it when I left, and then when I came back, everybody started doing what I was doing again, and literally started doing it on the same on the same night. And typically, I'm not pulling downtown Jaboukie Brown into this because he ain't got nothing to do with this. This is really just me. But literally, like John Carr, Devin Walls, there was, I don't know what to call it. They call it competition. But let me tell you something. If I'm walking down the street because I'm on my way home and you come running past me talking about you can't beat me because you run into McDonald's, we ain't even in the same race. We're not going the same place. I didn't even know we were in competition. All I know is that it's self-destructive. And I kept wondering, why is it that every time I start doing what I do, other people do what I try to do what I do. When I do it, it's kind of like you're trying to crush me for no reason. You're trying to create, I don't know, like hate or something for no reason. And I had to understand, so I started digging. And I would like to say that truly in my heart, this is what I believe. And so the anger that I had about it at first, it turned to sorrow. This is why we can't work together. This is why you're doing this, because you're being affected by a force that you don't even know about. That you don't even know about. You've been indoctrinated to something. Your parents was indoctrinated to the same thing. Her name again was the young lady with the cancer cells. It says David Sony Lax Jr., Henrietta Lax. So it's Henrietta Lax, I take it. Born Loretta Pleasant, August 1st, 1920. Hold on one second. Boom, 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 boom. So Grown Man said, Wayne had asked me her name again. That's why I put it out there. Grown Man said, "You are what you eat. Ask one of these kids where a fruit tree." Hey, bro, I remember we used to eat them crab apples and shit too. Remember that? Like off them trees. It's uncomfortable, but it's enlightening. Christina said, "We have natural cures to everything, but there is money in illness. So they get people hooked on these drugs. They become dependent on it, not realizing they can heal themselves. All medicines are derived from natural, holistic herbs and ingredients." Grown Man said, "It's not going to work if y'all don't collaborate, group funding." Wayne said, "Like the chicken, or was it a fish sandwich?" Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let me tell y'all something. On a total random note, so I had read that a quarter of the people who have gotten the COVID vaccination are now experiencing medical problems, like new medical problems that they didn't have before. I also read earlier, I gotta find the gentleman's name. It's some French guy that he and another doctor or scientist was credited with discovering like the AIDS virus and everything, like discovering the like mapping the whole AIDS thing. You know what I mean? Now, this man said it. I don't. You know what? I don't even really want to say it because I haven't really had a lot of time to vet it. But it's not that he didn't say it. It's what else was in the article that's making me stutter step on really expanding on it but I want y'all to check into it. So he said that apparently I think he's also like a Nobel Prize winner or something. I got to really look into this, but he was saying that there's a whole lot of extra stuff going on with that virus. What the fuck is his name? Luke.
Was he the one saying where his son wanted to go to the university and they was making him take the vaccine? No.
Luc Montagnier is a French virologist and joint recipient with Francois Bar-Sinosse and Harold Zur Hausen on the 2008 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine for his discovery of the human immunodeficiency virus, right? So he won a Nobel Prize. I was right about that. This is a real guy. So he was recently on a talk show being interviewed, and he had some crazy shit to say about the fucking COVID vaccination, right? So within that article, they discredited the hell out of him. They said, he also believes in other conspiracy theories and stuff like that. And let me tell y'all something. Whenever people try to discredit someone so hard and so quickly, it reminds me of Martin Luther. And no, not Martin Luther King. It reminds me of Martin Luther, who wrote the Magna Carta, who wrote his 97 Theses, the gentleman who shook the Catholic Church and brought them to their knees because he said, you no longer have to go through a priest to get to God. You don't need their permission. You can talk to God yourself. Oh my God. That made them lose so much fucking money and so much everything. They declared him a heretic and threw him in jail. They called him crazy. And after a while, when they did let him out of jail, they kicked him out of town. He couldn't live where he was anymore because his words were dangerous. But it goes right back to what Willie Lynch said. Didn't he say, if they understand your language, they'll no longer be a fool? Boom. Like I said, everything comes back to this and your understanding of it. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, it's I really don't think we're getting any better in this situation, man. I really think it's getting worse. And like you also said, you made a very valid point. I'm saying this, I'm at work today where I see how one person to speak to, the boss or the manager, and when they come to talk to you, it's totally, no type of form or business or professionalism, So it's getting worse, and I'm hoping that us as black people can try to some way, somehow, man, come together, because that's what it's going to take. I think for the most part, we got to get out of this crab mentality, man, and keep trying to pull each other down, and that there alone, man, is. And I mean, you've heard me say it. And I may say jokes, man, but there's a lot of truth to these jokes. You can't hate a person because they have a new car, new house, or whatever. People hate you because you got a new pack of 9-liters. Something that damn simple. You know what I mean? It's real, man. But my thing is, man, is fight against it, man. You gotta fight against that, man. And it's the devil or the resistance within yourself.
Yeah.
A lot of us have it within ourselves and don't understand that what we are fighting against or what we really against is our own self.
Yeah, all day long. Well,
You
like I said, he did it best. It was divide and conquer, bro. And the odd part is we're at odds with ourselves.
Yes, God.
We're so at odds with ourselves, it's ridiculous. It was one more thing that I wanted to hit in here. It's like 9:49.
Oh, we at the limit. We didn't have that much fun. How long we here to?
I thought I was about to put you to sleep, bro, because I was going in.
No. I heard. I like you going in, man. I want to interrupt. You going in, especially at this point, man. I'm telling you.
Let me tell you something. I am so looking for a brief discourse of offspring development will shed light. Man, let me tell you, it is completely break the female horse until she becomes very gentle, whereas you or anybody can ride her in comfort. Breed the mare and the stud until you have the desired offspring. Then you can turn the stud to freedom until you need him again. But train the female horse whereby she will eat out of your hand, and she will in turn train the infant horse to eat out of your hand also. So this goes back to that generational thing. So when your child gets pregnant, you tell your child, well, I know one thing, you better go down there to that welfare office. Teach your child to eat out the master's hand. Don't teach your child how to start a business. Don't teach your child how to stand on their own 2 feet, because guess what? It's free money out there. You better get it.
And they think they beating and raping the system.
Oh, yeah. You ain't raping the system. You're raping yourself.
And not only that,
children.
and they raping me and you.
All
the people
day.
that are working, that are actually
All
getting up every
day.
day, that are going out there to get that money and bring home. Because them taxes is real. Ficka, I'm still trying to look for Ficka. I'm going to choke the shit out of Ficka when I see her.
Ready to be tied to the horse at a tent. Before the breaking process, we had to alertly on guard at all times. Now we can sleep soundly, for out of frozen fear, his woman stands guard for us. He cannot get past her infant slave process. He is a good tool now, ready to be tied to the horse at a tender age. By the time a nigger boy reaches the age of 16, he is soundly broken in and ready for life's sound and efficient work and the reproduction of a unit of good labor force. Continually, though, the breaking of uncivilized savage niggers by throwing the nigger female savage into a frozen psychological state of independency, by killing the protective male image, by creating a submissive, dependent mind of the nigger male savage, we have created an orbiting cycle that turns on its own axis forever. Unless a phenomenon occurs and reshifts the positions of the female savages, we show what we mean by example. Damn. So basically, he's saying, if women realized who they were and really truly woke up and regained control, this shit would this shit would end. And I always said, for the right woman, the right man will do any fucking thing. I promise you. For the right woman, a motherfucker will leave everything he know. For the right woman, a man will get up and fight 20 men, knowing he gonna lose. But for that woman, for the right woman, a man will give everything he has. I know, I literally know it seems like a lot. You know what? Let me do this first, and then I'm gonna get into that. It's 9:53. We probably got about 10 minutes or something like this. Probably like 9:50 in real life. But do you have any final thoughts about this book, about the topic we've been talking about this evening?
Yeah, man. My final thoughts, like pretty much what I pretty much said it, as far as us still having the same mentality and living in this modern day and time now. Just trying to stay, and get out of that mentality, man. Just trying to, and it's easier said than done, but we have to fight against it, man. We have to fight against the resistance. We have to open our minds up and have more of a broaden horizon of what we are looking at for as a person. Look at yourself, because that's where it starts with, man. Because you also, if you see within yourself what you have and what's going on, and you check yourself, you can also feed that into your child or into your wife or your husband or whoever that's in your surroundings or in your circle. We just got to do better, man. We got to try to fight it. Even me, and I'm not talking to everyone like I'm talking to everyone. I'm talking to myself as well.
Yeah.
Because I have seen it, and I'm still living it. And like I said, it's going on, man. And we have to start.
Yes, sir. And today seemed like a good day. It ain't never too late. You ain't never too old. I want to tell everybody that the young lady names is Henrietta Lacks. If you want to look it up, she had the immortal genes, and her immortal cells. They still use those cells to this day. To this day, they still use her cells. To this day. She died October 4th, 1951. They keep her cells alive, and they use it to this day. And it's not like her children or her lineage gets anything from them stealing her cells, because that's what they did. They stole her cells. They stole her cells. Her cells were so special because they were self-replicating. They doubled every 20 to 24 hours. They just keep doubling and doubling and doubling. They were like immortal. That's why they called them immortal cells. It's called the HeLa because Henrietta Lacks. They took the HE off of Henrietta, the LA off of Lacks. So y'all look it up. You hear me? Check this out. Vessels for Collective Progress, the use of HeLa cells in COVID-19.
What?
Yeah. That's why I said her family is getting nothing. Like her cells were so incredible that to this day, they're using them. They're using them, creating medicines, doing all types of stuff, and her family ain't got shit. So, bro, you tell me, where's the justice in that?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, and you said also Tulsa as well.
Yeah.
Where's the justice? There's no justice.
Man, and
Nobody's paying, and
it's so much more than that. It's so much I want to tell y'all, but I only got 2 hours. I won't be on at all in August. The whole station is going to be shut down in August. But let me run this past y'all real quick before we get up and go up out of here. So the first thing I want to say is this is undeniable. This book is called Willie Lynch, The Willie Lynch Letter and the Making of a Slave. So I'm going to do another episode about this book next week. When we come back from our August break, that should give me enough time to finish Medical Apartheid. As you can see, it's a big book. I was also gifted a book that KRS-One had recently wrote. So I'll be working on that as well. So here you go. The key to everything, as Willie Lynch realized it, as I've been realized it, as I'm sure quite a few men realize it, which is why women's rights and stuff has pretty much been in the shitter forever, and you get paid less than what a man does for doing the same job, and women have always been stifled. They always have the knee on the neck of the female. Let me tell you something. Black women out there, you are the answer. You are the answer. Even though it seems like you have nothing, even though it seems like you're broken, even though it seems like you have to be a mother to your children and your baby dad, even though it seems like you making bad decisions and bad choices, and sometimes you may feel unworthy, I promise you, I literally promise you, you are not unworthy. You are the answer. Right. And there's going to be a lot of people out here who's not going to agree with me on that. But if you listen to this conversation tonight, if you listen to the passages that I read out of this book, if you listen, let me tell you something. If you agree with anything that I said, if you say you can see this, then he said it as I'm saying it just the same. He feared you. He feared you because he knew that you could make or break his system. He says nothing about the man. You see, men are stubborn. They are. Men are hard-headed. Men don't want help. They want to do everything by themselves. They'll call victim as quick as they can. They want to think everybody is behind them and everybody is shitting on them and everybody is this and everybody and oh, well, it's me. But at the end of the day, it's you. You are the answer. I'm going to tell you that until I can tell you no more. Realize who you are. I don't care. Stop fucking. Do whatever it is that you have to do to get us right. Because let me tell you, if you don't, you'll be fighting to protect your sons for the rest of your life. And so will your daughter and their daughter and their daughter and their daughter and their daughter. It'll never end. We can't afford that. We can't afford that because let me tell you something. Men, we can be good protectors. We can be good providers. But we need you because we pour our emotions into you. You keep us strong. You are our backbones. You literally hold us up. You are the better parts of us. Honestly, you have that heart for compassion and understanding. You talk to your man and you tell your man, baby, I don't think you should do this. Guess what? One look from you can bring a man to his knees. There have been wars fought for you, fought for your hand, fought for your love. Men have killed each other for you. You go somewhere, you smile just right, you get everything for free.
Facts.
People yearn for the warmth of your skin, the touch of your hand. If somebody see you sitting on the side of the road, they will stop. If someone sees you crying, they want to know if you want help. All I'm saying is please wake up. Because we need you so we can fulfill the roles we're supposed to fulfill. We need you so we can become better. Because you motivate us. You give us something to live for. You give us something to die for. You give us something to strive for, something to wake up in the morning for, something to fight for, something to love for. You make us give a fuck about ourselves when we don't even give a fuck about us anymore. You will make us want to live for you. not for us. We will sacrifice our lives. So, you don't have to be what society paints you. We need you. With that being said, I want to thank Major for coming out this evening.
Thank you for having me.
Hold it down. I want to thank P for being here.
Thank you, P. Shout out
Pushing
to
the
P.
buttons,
CMP.
doing everything he got to do.
CMPRadio.net. It's the station.
I want to tell y'all, get this book. Very short read. Have this in your home. Introduce this to your children. Talk to them about this. It's important. And like I tell y'all, share this video. Even if you take a snippet from it, or even if you just take these words and share them with somebody else, please do so. So I want to tell y'all, always find a reason to smile, always find a reason to laugh. Hold, 1 second. So Saturday, we're having a show over at the Fine Arts Center East. That is the 19th at 7 p.m.
Night of the Gods.
Night of the Gods. We'll be there performing. Major will be there performing. I'll be there. Shyster, City, freaking Slick the Hitman, Row. It's going to be a really good night. Jay Knives. It's going to be a really good night. Also, at the same place between 12 and 4, Lashes and Cocktails will be there. It's all black business owners, all female. They'll be in the building celebrating these small black businesses on Juneteenth. Always find a reason to smile, always find a reason to laugh. There's way too much bullshit going on in this world not to. I love you.
Yes, God.
Jeez.
Amgos Production. La 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 la.